All right, so we're getting ready to do the shoulder Inferno workout, courtesy of the hypertrophy coach.
Yeah.
So pay attention. He's going to be explaining everything as we go. So if you want to fire your delts up, if you want to swell them up like balloons, this is your workout right here.
So first one we got John doing here. So order of the workout, we're starting with side raise variation first, just because most people tend to be front delt dominant and you can almost never have too much side delts. So the reason we're doing this variation is one, lateral raises are one of those exercises everybody cheats on. So when people are doing dumbbell lateral raises, they tend to bounce the ankles, bounce at the knees, move their hips, move their back forward and backwards and shrug at the top. So one, very simple, we're just lying down to minimize cheating. The only thing moving on John right now is his shoulder joint, and that's the only thing we want to have training. So that's the purpose of lying down. And the benefit of the cables, as you can see John going here at the bottom, there's still tension from the cables at the bottom, whereas a normal dumbbell is just really, really hard at the top, and there's literally no tension at the bottom. So that's the other huge advantage of this exercise, is there's tension throughout the entire range of motion. So in a lot of ways, it's just a great option aside from traditional side dumbbell lateral raise. So a couple other little things. Well, one, you look at how we're using instead of holding onto the handles, we have them on the wrists. Real simple. If anyone's ever done relatively heavy lateral raises, sometimes the wrists, the forearms, the grip can fatigue before the delts do. So we're just putting it over the wrist just to take the hands and the grip out of the equation. If you prefer holding the handles, that's fine. It's not like something you have to do. But like I said, sometimes you'll find that's the fatiguing point before the delts. So you guys too, for setup, if you don't have this, it's a pretty common piece, it's just a Life Fitness dual cable, but if you don't have one of these in your gym, you can just use any dual cable trainer. So there's a Prime one over here, Free Motion, Lifetime Fitness all makes one. Pretty much every gym has one, so you can literally just put these at a similar height, slide them close together, and just slide a bench up to it, and literally produce the same motion. So as long as your gym has some sort of dual cable, it's pretty easy to set up. So another thing, just as John was going, he mentioned on this, for him and for anybody, how easy it is to keep your traps out of it. And a big mistake when people do dumbbell raises is they just think about how high they can get the dumbbell, and ultimately they finish with a shrug. And because you really can't see your shoulder blades, you can see if your shoulders are shrugging, but it's hard to. The advantage of this is your shoulder blades are on the bench. So literally, your body weight helps you hold your shoulder blades nice and still, but it also gives you feedback. It's really easy to feel if your shoulder blades move an inch. So keeping the shoulder blades locked in stone, being aware of them not moving on the bench, so much easier to keep the traps out of it, and so much easier to prevent doing some form of shrugging type motion. And again, shrugs are traps. If you want to train traps, train traps. If you want to train delts, you just want your shoulder joint moving, not your scapula elevating up and down. So on those side lateral raises, we did 3 sets of around 10 to 12, and on your last set, you want to finish with a hard, like triple drop set, trying to keep the drops at least 5 reps or so, so adding up to about 25 to 30 reps. Watch on this one. Big thing is, John's a little bit of a rear delt fanatic, as you all know. And look at his elbows. That's probably one of the most important things to look at in this exercise. His elbows are always pointing in the same plane as the exercise. They're always pointing straight back. The biggest cheat or biggest mistake I see most people make on rear delts is they let their elbows dip to the floor. So if your elbow starts to turn under or starts to point to the floor, you're generally starting to use your side delt and not your rear delt. So number one tip I give for rear delts is to look at your elbows, keep them pointing the same direction as the exercise. So in this case, they're always pointing out, they're always pointing back, and that'll keep it on the rear delt and help keep you from cheating. So next exercise, we went side delts first and then rear delts. Again, most people need more side rear delts than front delts. So that's kind of the priority of the order of exercises here. We're doing a reverse pec deck. You know, if I had to pick one rear delt exercise, it's hard to beat. It's stable, your body's locked in still, so it's gonna help minimize cheating. It trains the rear delt pretty much through its full contractile range. So if you got the alignment right, aside from that, it's hard to beat as far as exercise selection goes. 4 sets total here, and we're doing about 10 to 12 reps each set. And we're gonna finish just like the side delts with a big strip set, 2 or 3 drop strip set on the last set. Shoot and have at least 5 reps or so on each drop. So the total set's gonna add up to about 25, 30 reps again on that last set.
All right, so we're doing some farmer's walks. Man, these are tough. Good for your grip too. For your shoulders, you're probably wondering why would you do this for shoulders? It's like an isometric contraction. You know, you're holding the weight. And it's funny, you don't really feel it in your delts until you set the weight down. And then right when you set the weight down, man, the fire just brushes into your delts. So 4 rounds of this. And if you're going to do these, put them last in your shoulder workout like we're doing today. Get your shoulders cooked and burning and pre-exhausted, and then do these.
And if you guys don't have these bars, so obviously these are pretty specific bars for farmer's walk, you can always just use heavy dumbbells. It can have pretty much the same effect, or you can use a trap bar as well too. So if you don't have these pieces, those are 2 common pieces that almost every gym has: a trap bar, a shrug bar, some people call it, or you could just use a pair of heavy dumbbells. All right, guys, as well, so we just finished up a little bit of a high volume, high density shoulder workout. So meaning we did relatively short rest, moderate to high reps, so anywhere from 10 to 15 reps, and finishing everything with drop sets. And then just a little isometric, you know, so we basically did a farmer's carry, which is just intentionally trying to keep your delt kind of contracted and tight the whole time, because basically we smashed whatever range of motion it had, and then just doing some holds for 60 seconds or so while you're carrying it, just gonna really trap and make all that blood in there kind of just get stuck and work. And so that was it. So just a nasty workout. And, check it out, and don't forget to check out my YouTube page, Hypertrophy Coach, and hit that subscribe button.